Durham's Nothing But Truth, proudly on AFR Talk. And Peter King, do jump right in. Getting as much as I can in, folks. You can go to the Facebook page and check it out as well and weigh in on what we are speaking of. Also, you can always go to nothingbutTruth.com. Now, Peter King, Congressman Peter King, is supportive of military action in Syria, but as more of a comprehensive plan, he wants more from the president when it comes to this. I'll get to Putin with Ryan Morrow a little later. I just want to analyze this. Yesterday on Meet the Press, he was explaining his point of view, and then he took a shot at President Obama and his leadership or lack thereof. And here, David Gregory has taken great exception to this. We can get the slate up of King and Gregory, and it's B22. Roll it.
I just wish the president had laid this out better. I wish he quit backing away from his own red line, and I wish he was more of a commander-in-chief than a community organizer.
Well, what is it? Why do you say that? I mean, that's like a campaign line. What does that mean? More commander-in-chief than community organizer?
What I mean by that is he was commander-in-chief. For 1 year, he said this red line was there. And then the red line is crossed, and he sends Kerry and Hagel out. We're all set to basically have an attack. We're told that Congress is not needed. At the 11th hour, he brings in Congress, and then he says it's not his red line. So here's a person who's vacillating. I can't imagine Harry Truman or John Kennedy or Ronald Reagan or Dwight Eisenhower ever putting a nation in a position like this on a military policy.
All right, so he explains it. My question to you is President Obama a good leader? Now think about this. You can make the case that, hey, got Obamacare, that's what he wanted to get done, effective. Now, of course, I'm just putting some things out there of accomplishments. Dodd-Frank, he got it done. Stimulus, he got it done. Reelected, got bin Laden. Now, you know my view on all of these things. I'm just giving you a case to say, hey, he's a pretty good leader. He's gotten these things done. Hey, 7.3% unemployment. We'll take a look at that at the bottom of the hour, by the way, as well as at the top of the hour, Pete Seff from the National Taxpayers Union. Right now, 1-888-589-8840. 1-888-589-8840. Is President Obama an effective leader? Is he a good leader? Why or why not? You don't have to write an essay. Just chime in. 1-888-589-8840. That's 1-888-589-8840. President Obama has certainly not embraced the idea of being leader of the free world. Dennis McDonough was asked about that yesterday as well. Roll it.
This is an international standard.
Are you equating is the United States just an equal partner on the international stage, or are we the world's leader?
There's no question that we're the
So why is it appeared that he was trying to distance himself from his own credibility? He is the one who said, if he used a bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized, that would change my calculus, that would change my equation. Hasn't the President of the United States put his credibility on the line, saying, if you do this, if you cross this line, you're in trouble?
Declaratory policy is something we do all over the world. And we send and communicate very clear signals to our adversaries so that they understand exactly what's on the docket. I was sitting in the National Security Council staff at that time. We saw indications, public and private, of what he was preparing to do. And so we undertook a very aggressive effort, publicly and privately, directly with him and his cohorts, but also with our other allies, to make sure that this did not happen, because the implications of it are very robust, very negative for our national security interests. And what this intelligence shows, what we've debated and what we've briefed, and nobody has debated or rebutted, is that he did it.
Let's go to Buddy. Buddy in Texas. Buddy, President Obama, an effective leader, a good leader? Your thoughts?
Well, as my grandfather-in-law would say it, no.
I like that. H-E double hockey sticks. Maybe I'm getting a little too rough there. I might get a note. But
he's worse than a lame duck.
Okay.
I'd like to say more, but it wouldn't be on the radio appropriately.
I gotcha. But you're saying that part of leadership would be to actually make a case and get people on board, maybe? Explain a little more?
If he had a little bit of leadership in him, he'd be a man.
All right, buddy. Appreciate your phone call. Thank you. I appreciate your phone call. I think I guess what we're talking about there is the idea of fortitude and standing up and doing the right thing. Courage, as Dan Rather used to say. All right, let's go to Patrick. Patrick in the great state of Mississippi. Hello, Patrick. Tell me, President Obama, good leader?
Obviously, it depends on the stance you take. If you're looking at Gilbert issues and anything that has to do with the liberal left, obviously you could say, hey, he's a good leader, but even still, he can't even have a quorum for this war effort. So the question I ask is your question rhetorical? Because I almost have to laugh. If he walks like a duck, talks like a duck, right, then I have to say it is a duck.
Well, Patrick, appreciate the question. It's not rhetorical, but it could be because of the criticism. But I know there are those, the president's supporters on his policies. We all support the president. If it's our president, we support him. We just want him to do the right thing. We oppose policies. You get it, left? It's not about him. It's about the office. All right. But as looking at policies and advancing them, people have said, hey, he's gotten it done, and he got reelected. So there's a question. Is he a good leader? Let's go to Marissa in the great state of West Virginia. Hello, Marissa.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hey, Catherine gets back tonight. I'm doing great. Go ahead.
Wonderful. No, I was I agree with the gentleman before me. It was just depending on what you define as leadership. And I think that if you want to describe him as a leader, you would have to throw it in there that he leads with fear. And has he taken our country and brung us together? And I have to say, absolutely not. Has he brought our military together? No, absolutely not. He stripped it. So absolutely not. I just have to say that he is not a good leader in any way, shape, or form. When we list our presidents, he will not be in the same category as Reagan or Roosevelt or any of the other ones. So that's just my opinion, and I thank you so much for your time.
Hey, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And again, please, if you do believe he's a good leader, sincerely, please call in because I want to know. I mean, he's gotten things done, right? He got his own DREAM Act. Is that a good leader? I'm putting it out there, throwing it out there. Rob in the great state of Georgia. Hello, Rob. Obama a good leader? President Obama?
I know you're looking for somebody to say something different, but no, I do not feel he's a good leader at all. I think he may have a pretty good golf game, but not a good
Don't
leader.
all presidents, though? I mean, it's amazing. Rob, I appreciate it. Appreciate your point of view. Thank you.
I appreciate your show. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. All right, let's keep going. And let me know, Cedra, if there is somebody out there, you can put in the comment section, yes, that thinks that he's a good leader. And we'll just keep going through the phone calls and go to Steve. Steve in the great state of Louisiana. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Crane. I pretty much agree with everybody else. But I will say this. President Obama is accomplishing exactly what he intended to do.
Bingo.
And that is destroy this country and move us towards socialism. I mean, it's just obvious. There's no other way to describe it.
Well, Steve, we've got to look at the results, right? That's what we got to do. Yeah, and as adults, we measure the results. He said he wanted to transform America. He's doing a job of it. He's certainly doing a job of that. Now, America's elected him twice. So are they digging the transformation? Or is there something else at play? I believe there's something else at play, not conspiratorial, but the fact that we don't have conservatives out there actually making their case and unabashedly, and we allow the left to pick for conservatives our candidates and, mock the ones that are actually conservative that they fear. But I digress. Let's go to Gina in Virginia. Gina, President Obama, good leader?
Well, let me ask. No, I don't think he's a good leader, but I think he is effective at some things, as long as he has no opposition. He is effective at pushing his own agenda, whatever he wants, provided he's got nobody to stand against him. Because
Gina, that's exactly it, and the idea of him being able to have if he's able to use his power, he doesn't have to convince anybody. Oh, he'll get it done. He'll just use his power, because that's what the left's about. Remember, this is what the left does. And I'm not talking, listen, if you're on the left, I don't mean this offensively. Look at the record. Look at him making the case. Has he convinced Americans? The more he talks about the economy, the more he talks about healthcare, they're less popular. So he really is not making the case, is he? Let's go to Juan, North Carolina. Juan, go ahead, my friend.
Well, as far as the president is concerned, I think he's doing a fantastic job at exactly what he actually wanted to do, because he had a plan and he accomplished it.
And that's well said, Juan, because he's effective. He's getting what he wants done. Now, I think, and Juan, I appreciate it. Final call for the segment, but I appreciate that. Here's what we need to focus on as conservatives who are seeing a liberal agenda advance. Now, it's not about R's or D's, it's about accountability, but we really must learn how to contend with the fact that, no, President Obama, as a leader leading America, not a really good job, because he's led them through the use of power as opposed to persuasion and convincing people, getting people on board. He's done this with a very effective news media that carries the water for them. And their backs have got to be really sore, by the way. But how do you run against that? What's the alternative? What do you do? Well, number one, you point that out. Obamacare, not very popular. Support for the Muslim Brotherhood. And you explain why it's wrong and why it's hurting America. That's if you disagree. If you agree with it, you say, hey, great, well then might is right. You just keep working and have a thugocracy, which is seemingly what we have, figuratively speaking. Crane Durham's nothing but truth. More on the flip side. Benjamin Jealous resigns from the NAACP. AFR Talk.